Just over a year ago, we all held our collective breath as the news broke of Top Gear presenter Richard Hammond's high-speed crash. He'd lost control of a jet car nearly 300 miles an hour. It had had a blowout. His last memory was thinking, so, this is how I die.
Well, doctors thought his recovery could take years, but unbelievably, he was back on his feet and full of beans, it seems, in just weeks. Before long, he was back at work, and now he's even back behind the wheel with the rest of the boys at Top Gear.
Right, so this, theoretically, is the start of the greatest driving road in the world.
I fear I may have made a slight mistake here.
He had. There was a cycle race on, and his brilliant road was closed.
What?
Are we allowed to drive on it?
No.
No. It's shut!
It is a bit.
You've dragged me all the way to Liechtenstein to go on a road that's shut!
A bit. Completely.
Great relationship between great presenters, and a very warm welcome
Great
to
relationship. We just shouted it.
I know, but we love it. Richard and his wife Mindy giving their here now to give their first TV interview. So, you know, a tricky one for both of you, but we'll be very gentle. Okay. When you met whilst he was in PR at sort of corporate headquarters type of thing, didn't you? So, did you meet him at the time when he had his only proper job?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
So you had really no idea what had come before what he was into, because this is a guy who, as a kid, had done constant stunts, jumping very dangerously from balcony to balcony, all that sort of thing. Hideously dangerous stuff.
Mindy thought I was a grown-up, is what
I
you're
did,
saying.
actually,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought you were quite trendy, though.
What? In what way have I ever been trendy or
had long
fashionable?
hair.
Yes, that's true, I did. I was very fashionable.
Well, the picture we just showed there was very trendy. Let me look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
It's quite
as you
long
can see,
now.
height of fashion. Looking good there. What a miserable
So
state.
when did he tell you, or when did you get to realise that this guy had this need for speed?
Do you know, I really didn't realise. Well, I think it was the way he drove his company car gave it away, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
He occasionally did the odd sort of handbrake turn.
What, on the roads?
High speed. Not on the roads, no, never. But yeah, he was quite a speed freak. So had you, when he was doing all these things on Top Gear, had you ever been worried when he left to go for work? No.
No.
It was daily life, you know, you just sort of got used to it. That's what he did for a living. So, and I got used to not thinking about it. Whatever he was doing, I just thought, okay, he's gone to work.
So we've heard a lot about, you know, what Richard remembers of that day. So what are your memories when you first got the phone call to say something had happened?
Oh, just sort of blind panic, really. Well, I didn't actually know how serious the crash was. Nobody did, really, I think. Obviously, I hadn't seen it, and Andy Willman rang me, who's the series editor, producer, and he said, it's okay, he's moving his arms and legs, because he wasn't there either. Yeah. So they'd called him and said, look, he's had an off, but, you know, he's moving his arms and legs, he'll be all right, but they're taking him to hospital. And he didn't know how bad it was, actually.
So when you were driving up to Leeds Infirmary, did you hear anything on the radio? Did anybody phone you to say, look, this is not looking great?
I knew he'd crashed, had no idea the severity of the crash, and it was actually en route to Leeds. I heard on Radio 2 on the news, Top Gear presenter Richard Hammond had been involved in a very serious accident. He's in a critical condition in hospital. The car has rolled and flipped, and his wife Mindy is driving to be with him, and I just completely exploded. You know.
Here's one of the news reports from that day using that word that you hadn't heard before.
The Top Gear TV presenter Richard Hammond is tonight critically ill in hospital after crashing at 280 miles an hour. He was driving a jet-propelled car at an airfield near York as part of a land speed record attempt programme. It's thought he'd already broken the record. He was doing one final run when the accident happened.
Now, as we've said, Richard, I mean, there was an awful lot. We know a lot about this accident. It's been mentioned. The newspaper's been mentioned on the programme.
I've never seen any of the news.
You haven't, of course.
No, it's the first time I've seen any of the news clips of it.
From your perspective, one of the things about you mentioned in the book is that we all go through our lives and we wonder, you know, what will be the circumstances of our death? What will it be like? Where will I be? How old will I be? And that you had that moment in the car thinking, oh, this is it.
Yeah, when I wrote that in the book, it was, I mean, that was partly because we'd agreed at the outset we were going to be very honest, because if it was going to have any value, then we had to be honest about these things, and that is what went through my mind. And it wasn't a big dramatic, I knew there was nothing more I could do. I'd steered, I'd deployed the parachute, cut the engines, and then it started to roll, and there was no other option. It was the next thing on my to-do list. It was just, which sounds like I'm trying to be very brave or very melodramatic. It wasn't. It was just, that's the next thing to do. I don't see how else it can possibly end. So, yeah, that's how I told it.
When you finally catch up with him in Leeds Hospital, and you see the state of him, and he's... Tell me about the scale, the brain scale.
Oh, the Glasgow Coma Scale. The Glasgow Coma Scale is something that they use when they see somebody at the scene of an accident with suspected brain injury. 13 to 15, I think, is sort of mild brain injury, and it goes down the scale to moderate, and severe is, I can't remember what it is.
It's about 8 or
8 and below.
yeah.
And he was a 3, and 3 is actually the lowest score.
Did anybody warn you before you went in to see Richard what to expect?
No.
And what faced you when you walked into his hospital room?
It was a standard sort of intensive care ward, and it was like walking on the moon. Everything was just slow motion, and whatever anybody says to you, you don't really hear. You just think, I just want to see him. And we went past so many beds, and every bed you walk past, you think, is that him? Is that him? And then we got to his bed, and it appeared not a mark on him. He had this sort of Klingon lump